You really won't believe the last game. That is not clickbait. It really isn't, and I have to remember to edit this into the front because it's true. It's that time, Monster of the Week. We have another 3 events. We're going to find out who our resident monsters are. We're going to take a look at a few games from the earlier events, and then, of course, we have our live events that we're going to spectate and see who can take it down in the 3rd event. Before we get into everything, I, of course, have to let everybody know that I am part of the content affiliate program. That means the Phobies team, of course, gives me coffee for producing Phobies content. Had to redo that one because I stumbled over the words, even though I say this every time. Gonna have to remember that for editing. But another thing I have to remember to put out there at the top is if you're interested in playing Phobies tournaments yourself, everything's set to level 1, and you have a chance to win some coffee prizes provided by the devs. Hit up the links in the description of this video, down by the like and subscribe button. We did officially hit 1,000 subs, so shout out to everybody watching these videos. But with that out of the way, let's get to it. All right, we're leading off here. We're kind of jumping around. Normally, I like to pick some of the round 3 games from some of the earlier events, but we're going to jump around a little bit. This is, in fact, actually a round 3 game. From Event A, the first event of the day, we got A. Markin versus RK Maverick. Rocket Maverick showing up here. A new player, new competitor here. Let's see if the challenger can knock off one of the old guard. Played a bunch of Hunt Showdown today, maybe 10 matches. I almost got to kill one of the games. Yeah, Hunt is, it's rough. It's rough. My game against Rocket was the most interesting out of my 3, so it'd be funny to see it fight A Mark and then get to me after. We'll take a look at that, Master Dark. We'll try and take a look. So we're here on like and subscribe. Hey! That like and subscribe button. How about that? Like and or subscribe button. And the notification bell and comments. Retweets, reposts, all those things. What? Channel a little Mickey Cantor here. Shout out to my Monday Night Combat fans. Chat, if there's a game that needs to get remastered and re-released, it's Monday Night Combat. Real talk. I will say that this is a very interesting start because Maverick did not... Okay, neither player went for the Gravedigger break at the beginning, which has kind of been the de facto start. Lord of the Rings games. Which Lord of the Ring game? Because there's a lot. And there's a lot that would be in the age range for remasters. But we do see a Gravedigger. We see... What is this? What is happening here? Chat, what... First of all, is this dead? This is dead. What the... Alright, cowbell for corn. Fair. Maverick seems to love the unusual opening. Look, there's an advantage to be gained by doing some of these things. By just doing weird stuff and catching people off guard. A. Markin's a really strong player, so is it going to catch him off guard? We're going to find out. The Gesundheit is... I mean, that's a thing. I don't know if I love it. Really? Wow. All right, first of all, if anybody sees a spider doing that is unsettling. That is uncomfortable. This is a stimmed up stabby, so of course the minus 300 from the Woolly Bully not doing a whole lot to suppress its damage output. But it is now poisoned, and that's as... What is happening here? Zappy? Sure. This is my kind of game. Maverick does not respect your meta. See, this is what it... Like, a meta is not a bad thing. I know you're not saying that, Luffy, but, like, a meta is not a bad thing because if you are a creative player, if you are a player that likes finding the answer that's, like, the hidden answer to the puzzle, then you love a settled meta because everyone's going to do X, then they're going to do Y, then they're going to do Z. And you know exactly at what points in the game you can disrupt them. Oh my god. Is this a dead Crushmore? No! Oh my god, chat. Maverick with the plays. The Finnegan boop. I don't know if I love the kill with the Gesundheit here. I don't know if I love the Gesundheit kill because it's now out of position. Well, I guess, you know what? It might have died anyway because of the jar. But this is just... What is happening? You get the heal from the Clinico and... Like, alright. Hey, Markin's got to, like... You got to go in the tank for this one. Bro is the type to fight the final boss with clown armor. My man is coming out swinging. He's coming out swinging. That being said, A-Markin's not going down without a fight. We get a little shove shark into the bad side. Bad side coming in, getting the takedown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maxed out on Phobies, though. Yo, my man in the orange shorts. Coming out here, pulling the Alien Engineer. 18 keys still left available. The teeth went the wrong way. We're not going to talk about that. We're not bringing that part up. I did see that though. Like I did notice that. They we'll call that the Looney Tune. We'll call that the Looney Tune. I feel like Daffy did that at some point. Daffy Duck 100% did that at some point. Yo, how strong must Bad Side's forearms be? Walking around on his fingertips like that. Jar up to 3 kills, I think. You got the jar kill counter going. The same thing happens when you shove shark your Chuck. Really? He shoots his arm the wrong way? Bad Side is so old he forgot how to aim with his teeth. Nah, it's just a boomerang. Because it like your teeth wrap around. It's like a boomerang, right? You just throw it that way and it comes back. That's how it's supposed to work, right? Just making excuses at this point. All right, so we got 6 keys remaining to 11. Panic point advantage is for our blue player. All of the laughs and the giggles are gone because now we got to get down to serious time. We got a little kaboom action coming in. No displacements for our orange player just yet. We got Bad Side sipping on a little, I'm going to say gin and juice, but I don't know if that's actually what is coming out of his tube in the back. Which I'm telling you still looks like it's coming out of his shoulder, which is even weirder. All right, we get his second power down here. Ooh, the block. All right, this is cute. This is actually kind of cute here. Clopster. I know we're gonna get some. Maverick is building up a fan club now. Maverick is building up a fan club. Bad Side has now figured out which is in front and which is behind, throwing in the appropriate direction now. Panic points flip, though, 7 keys to 6, so Maverick technically wins the key trading war on these panic points. A-Markin's got to make something happen, either get a takedown or some other setup to try and flip this. Maverick used the wrong ingredients. Seems like the meal will be good. Well, you just... maybe the recipe's a little different. That's the thing. You got a different chef in the kitchen here cooking. Getting the setup here a little microscopic. Maverick loving the germs. Got to be careful in that. You got to wipe down the kitchen counter after you got the raw chicken there. It can be very dangerous. Just saying. Ooh, good play from A-Markin here. Got the splash, take down the Gravedigger. Listen to Grandma's old receipt. I assume you meant recipe. I don't think receipt is what you were going for there. I mean, I'm not a mind reader, but I don't think you meant the word receipt. All right, so we are now officially out of keys. We're into overtime, chat. A-Markin still under pressure, has to make something happen, but this kaboom is lurking. This kaboom is lurking. Receipt from my wife's trip to Target today spoke to me. Ruh-roh. Looks like when my I'm assuming that's your corrector. Your autocorrect makes a French word instead of an English one. Look, Us English speakers have a hard enough time with English. I can't imagine somebody who speaks more than one language. All right, you can't tell me there's not a shove shark play here somewhere, but yeah, A. Markin's kind of in the position where you need to make something happen at this point. Get a little splash damage. Zappy's going to get... Really? All right, I guess we're not going for yet. A little more patience here. But that's now 4-1. That's 4-1 orange. I don't think this is quite a takedown. No, it's not. Maverick pressuring the heart. We do get double klepto hits, but I mean, the Bo Mangles is effectively out of the game. Like, okay, so to clarify, Bo Mangles is out of the game because it's like, okay, I can hit this mother load, but like everything else is up here. Is this going to be a massive mother load shot? Nope. Little power down on the klepto seems like a good target. That's a kill shot from Microscopic. Just pulverizing the Bo Mangles. We're stabilizing, not stabilize panic points for A. Markand here, but that's just a surrender, and I don't blame him. Maverick with the upset. The newcomer taking down the old guard. GG. All right, we're looking at Event B here. We might come back to Event Alpha in a little bit, but we're here on a new map between Lord Shinra and Alien Engineer. It's time to take center stage. Let's see who takes this one down. This should be a very interesting match since people chose a... I mean, this just came into rotation this week. We just got to peek at this, so I'm very curious what two of the best players in the game have decided to do on this map. Living up to his name, finally. The same couldn't be said for Molly's. Wait, what? Oh, Wooly Bully. Yeah, Wooly was bullying A. Markin on that last map. All right, so we are seeing, as predicted last night, if you haven't watched that video, I'm never going to remember to put the thumbnail in here. But trust me, you can go find the other video of talking about hot takes on this map. Now, we didn't see Alien Engineer take this bottom panic point just yet. Obviously, they can't swing the cat into either right now because it's going to die, well, any of the panic points. So we'll see what they decide to do. I love my level 17 Russell with 370 poison, 740 damage. That's a big bird. All right, so we get an aggressive, we'll call it a push from Alien Engineer to... Wait, really? There has to be... Are we going to see Jaws? This is a Jaws play? Okay, this is interesting. Shinra did not want to offer up the Gravedigger to possibly get hit by the Henrietta plus the stabby shots that would have been a dead Gravedigger. So this is... For anybody curious, why not just kill the cat? Well, that's exactly why. Now, you could have gotten it with follow-up. Like, you probably could have gotten it with a jar? Yeah, you could have killed it with a jar. So that was an active decision by Shinra to not do it. Instead, banking up to 8. Are we going to burn those 8 keys now? We're just trading off... Ooh, triple panic point advantage, and it's Hevo 2.0, leaving one more key in the bank. Alien Engineer at 7. So one of the important things to try and assess on these maps, aside from the general strategies, keep in mind who goes first, who goes second. We'll see if long-term, whether that plays in on these given maps. We've definitely seen some over time where, yeah, player 1 or player 2 is at a distinct advantage. I don't know if center stage is one of those maps. But both players are flipping panic points with reckless abandon. So we do get the break here for those of you who haven't been keeping track, because I definitely wasn't. Alien Engineers is going to be able to crack this right away, but it's going to be difficult to get enough damage here to actually kill this Gravedigger, because you could get the break, but then you get a zappy hit, maybe a snowball. That's not going to be enough to kill a healthy Gravedigger. Notably, Razormouth has been lurking. Pretty beat up, but hanging around. You know, I do like Zappy, but I don't know if I love it in this scenario. I wonder if that's something Alien Engineer was just trying out here, or if this is something that has worked for them in the past. Because right now, it's all looking like Shinra right now. Steve's, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce you to Steve's. And with a triple panic point advantage and Zappy on the other side of the board alongside Stabby, this is going to be tough for Alien Engineer to crack, because this is a lot of momentum to try and turn. Okay. Alright, I guess. Still 5 keys available. Of course, the cat's probably going to come in and flip this panic point. Little over halfway down, or a little over halfway health remaining on our blue player's heart. We need a Jeeves skin where he wears jeans. Why? Haven't you ever seen a picture of Andy Reid? Bachelor. It's rough when Bachelor comes in, can't secure the kill. So we're instead going to have to see the Gravedigger come in. If this doesn't result in the dead Gravedigger here, it is... How aggressive does Shinra want to get here? 5 keys to 4 remaining. Steve's has yet to lay a trap, I don't believe. I think it had to go 2-2 to get to this position. This has got to be a dead, yep. That's a cooked Bug Zapper. That Bug Zapper got cooked. Oh, no. The precursor to Cupcake, the Muffin Man. And that's now a very healthy Hevo. That's 0 keys for Shinra. Does Alien Engineer have something with 5 keys to cook with? I don't know what this positioning is doing. I guess you could put the Stabby here? Well, you could put the Stabby where the Gravedigger is. And then the Stabby can cover these 2 panic points. Alien Engineer does have attrition on their side to a degree, because any damage that Shinra takes at this stage is permanent. The problem is Steve's... Like, the longer this game goes on, the more Steve's is going to cause a problem, right? So the play is innocuous, and a push from Shinra. I don't know if Alien Engineer can repel this. You just don't have enough damage and range to really hurt the Steves. I don't love this. This doesn't seem great. Is the boop available? Even if it isn't, like, you can kill this, snipe the jar, maybe? Oh, that is, in fact, a dead Stabby. Yeah, and now you snipe the jar. That... That feels uncharacteristically... Or was it uncharacteristically poor play from Alien Engineer, it feels like. None of the players use Shove Shark, which is interesting. True. True. I feel as though this is a dead innocuous. One must imagine that it is. It is not. It's in fact not dead. GG. Shinra taking down Alien Engineer on the new map. Well played. All right, we're coming back to like and subscribe. Going back to Event Alpha. The first event of the day for Monster of the Week 15. Master Dark versus Maverick. Once again on like and subscribe. Let's see what happens in this one. I've been told. I was informed that this was an interesting game. We'll see how interesting. I'll be the judge of that. You'll be the judge of that, chat. You tell me how interesting this one is. So we did watch, obviously, earlier, another Maverick game on this map. This apparently is their opener. This is what they do. This is how they do it. It worked against A Mark, and is it going to work against Master Dark? Master Dark rocking the Venus. Another enjoyer of the unique strategy, the abnormal strategy. Whoa, that's a fire. All right, timeout. Hold up. Talk about letting them cook. That's a fire ant. We did not see that in the first game. He just justified my Venus. I feel like it justified your Doom, but yes. Obviously, Fire Ant has a little bit more to offer than just Venus. All right, this is a little more standard. Get some Tooth Fairy action. I don't know why the cat is trying to do this weird weird hitch route. Doom, chat. That's a Doom. So the question is, are these other things, like these other growths that are on like Doom's shoulder and back and hands, are they eyes also? So I kind of feel like they're supposed to also be eyes. All right, trap's going down. We have a very threatening Fire Ant. Fire Ant should be live as far as traps go this turn. Look at this corn, just like... Corn is just hanging out here up at the top of the map doing nothing, I guess. And we get to repeat Gesundheit because... Gesundheit? Sure, why not? Cats probably trade out here, which... I don't know if that really favors either player. I could see trying to maybe disrupt the Fire Ant. I don't know. I guess the trade is fine. The Sacrificial Eternal Knight. That's a bold one. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Doom taking one for the team to remove it. So far, so good with predicting the trap placement. I never noticed how little damage Doom had. Yeah, Doom at level 1. Not great. It's not great. However, the entire purpose of Doom is, of course, to react to traps, and you don't want him to overshadow other ranged 5 keys, so I think it's fine. It does suck, but if Doom had higher damage, it would probably be the default 5-key ranged guy. Yo, this is a great play. This is a great play. The Clobster onto the stem, picking off that lazy Innocuous. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Maverick's got to be kicking themselves about that one. Now, ultimately, it's going to trade 4-key for 4-key, but honestly, it's not. Oh, no. Got to sink further resources in. I doubt Master Dark's going to dive this. But honestly, I think you're ahead as Master Dark with that exchange. Maverick electing to go... Well, found some more traps. Maverick electing to go with Yeti. You knew it was coming, chat. You knew it was coming. Fire Ant plus Yeti? Yeah, I could see the fire. It's kind of anti-synergy to a degree, but... Alright, we're trading out traps. I'm not really sure why the Yeti came out. I guess to try and catch the Hevo? Then again, I don't feel like I understand Maverick's game plans entirely. They clearly have something in mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Notably, first of all, you hit all 7. You got 2 dimensionals and an undead. No way to heal. That's a pretty significant Russell hit from the recently buffed Russell. Like, that, oh. Delicious. Wait, is this Gravedigger live? If this Gravedigger is live... Okay, I thought for a second the Gravedigger was going to break the block and the Klepto goes here and splashes things off the stem. All them being in line as a poison tick with such eye candy, it did feel very nice. Alright, we got the freeze there on the Hevo, which is clearly the game plan all along. I don't know if that's it. Didn't the Tooth Fairy only move once? Shouldn't it have had an attack? Maybe it moved twice. Ah! Get the lockout here so you can't even get to the Evo. You also get the extension of the range. Actually, no, you can shoot through the Gargles. Never mind. Gargles doesn't block your line of sight. But you do get the extension of the range on the Klepto here. It does, of course, block out Gesundheit, but does not block out the Fire Ant, which is cooking this Klepto. Some fried eggs, chat. By the way, fried egg on a bowl of chili. Actually really good. It was really good. It was suggested to me years ago now, but it's really good. Little breakfast chili action, chat. This would have been a savage trap if it wasn't for Doom Doom. Can't believe we're giving Doom Doom props, but I'm giving Doom Doom props. As long as the chili has beans in it. Always. I can't believe Russell just got a double kill. That Russell got a double kill. I mean, this game was over the second that Russell hit the board. That was very much a, oh, you done messed up. But you didn't realize you messed up until the Russell hit the board. Who let him cook? Well played, Master Dark. Well played. Maverick doing their best. You know, chat, I hope Maverick plays in some future events, because these are some absolutely wild strategies and shows that there's still a lot more to be done in the world of Phobies. Just get boomed, bro. Oh, the savagery. Got him. GG. Well played, Master Dark. Well played, both players. But real talk, I want to see Maverick in more games, because like we saw some wild stuff on Like and Subscribe. I want to see what Maverick has on other maps. All right, first game of Event C. We got Mechoed, we got Alien Engineer, and we're coming in on Home Sweet Home. We'll see what happens here. Alien Engineer starting out with a fairly standard opener, but Mechoed, the Jackalopes. A little Mopsy action to start the game. This is, I'm going to say, ballsy. Take some steel ones to go, you know what? I'm playing against Alien Engineer. slam that Mopsy. Like, that's just a turn 1 Mopsy and says, come at me, bro. Maybe not come at me, because it did appropriately take the more defensive one, because guess what? Snowball plus this is going to be a dead Mopsy. In fact, Jar plus Stabby is dead Mopsy, because then the cat comes swinging in. They go for another Jackalope's the evil genius. We'll see. We'll see. There is a level of, oh, I'm up against Alien Engineer. All right. All bets are off. Let's just do things. But I'm not one to give in to despair. Hope he goes full Jackalopes. We'll see. Mecha, like, you went... All right, so you go Mopsy into Stabby, into Inoculus. So it's like you have a more standard game plan here. Honestly, if you went one key into this, I feel like you'd be way better off. This is not how you want to start the game. I want a tournament game with all Jackalope. I'm telling you, Jackalope Queen. I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen one at this point from the devs as a new Phobie. And I think that is, and we were talking about this also in the main Phobies Discord, that rebalancing old Phobies by introducing ones that interact with legacy Phobies. So like Shove Shark essentially buffed a lot of Phobies, right? So did Phantom, because now all of a sudden these Phobies that weren't getting used because they're so slow, bang, they're in the thick of it right away. And you don't have to have, speaking of Rusty, you don't have to have a direct buff on those Phobies in order to buff them. Now, a Jackalope Queen would probably be a direct buff because it would interact with them, but maybe it just buffs all Resurrect Phobies. Maybe it gives all Jackalopes +1 movement. I don't know, but like there are ways to introduce it, have it impact the legacy Phobies, and still be meaningful. I'm going to make a Jackalope army against Shadow Force / Alien Engineer and nobody will stop me. Good luck. So Alien Engineer doing Alien Engineer things. We were talking about Spike, Johnny, and Timmy earlier. Not, well, Bone Mangles kind of is, but Attractor, I think, is the epitome of Spike. I see game, I win game. It's that simple. I pick things up and put them down. In this case, I pick up W's. Just scoop them up. Just carrying them all. Got all the W's. A little zappy action going on. I don't think zappy's the answer they're looking for here. I don't think zappy's the answer we're looking for here. It's now triple 1-movers. Oh no, Mecco, not like this. This is so late in the turn, not like this. All right, playing it safe. That could work in some parallel world. Yeah, I don't know if it's this one. I don't know if it's this reality. All right, you just got some admin stuff to address, chat. Apologize for no sound. It's something that I do hope the devs add, that we could leave sound on when it's not, the game's not in focus. All right, we're back. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what Mecco's answer is here. They do have 9 keys, so there's an enormous amount of things, a huge variety, especially given they have 2 open slots, which I guess if they went 1-1 earlier, they would only have 1 open slot now, but that's an oopsie baby. Newly buffed. I don't know about this one. 3 misanthropes? What? It's 3 misanthropes in a trench coat? No, what's funny is I don't even know if you can safely put the boom above the stabby because you're going to get pulled by a tractor. All right, so it's not a matter of does anything die. It's a matter of how many things die. Wait, what? I mean, I kind of get why it pulled up there, but I would not have predicted that. All right, so Cat clearly takes this down. A combination of this and Jar probably kills Stabby. But I have to imagine Alien Engineer was anticipating sniping this Innocuous. I think Alien Engineer's calculating, do they want to sacrifice a Jar instead of this Bowmangles or something? So the reason the poll happened like that is because the goal of the poll is to try and make things get closer to Attractor. So technically putting it in line like that is closer to the Attractor, I think. There was that diagram, I guess I'll call it, that was in the main Discord explaining how the logic for it works. But I'm not going to explain it right now. No one's going to believe me. We'll leave it at that. This is still a tough spot. Shout out to all my Temptress fans out there. I don't know if this is the answer here. It does save the life of this Innocuous temporary. It doesn't actually. That does nothing. You have to muffin this thing. Or heal it in some other way. This isn't good enough. No, this isn't enough. No! So the Temptress is going to come in and AoE this to death, I have to imagine. Now that does result in a dead Temptress, though? So, like, maybe Mechode is trading effectively here? Question mark? I still think it's not. Because this is, like, a lot of damage on this Quagmire, even with the heal. So you're going to have to do 2 hits in order to kill this, pull back with the Quagmire, and then you're still down. And Alien Engineer has 8 keys right now. An Attractor phobia, I've heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Glob. It's the Glob. All right. Down goes the Temptress as anticipated. You did not need to do this, though. Was this a mistake? It's 1,400 health, so I guess that's fine. I mean, you can get a yoink here. Really? Huh. Yeah, I don't think that's in Alien Engineer's best interest to get that pull. The thing is, this Glob is actually a serious threat, and to be honest, I don't... It's gonna take... Alien Engineer with the memes. We got a little walk the Glob? We're gonna walk the Glob? I never noticed that Paddles, like, shimmies a little bit when you click on it. Like, watch Paddles, chat. Watch Paddles when I click on him. If the game will ever let me. Look at that. Look at that. We get some Paddles, walk the Glob. Oh, this does not end well for you, Mechode. It's not a meme, brother. It's called a strategy. We shall see. Mechoed with no fear. Alien Engineer's about to put the fear of Glob in him. The thing is, if Glob's anything, it's just dead. Like, you're not healing it fast enough. And with the Yoink and the paddles available, I think the best plan for Mechoed here, is just back off, wait for this to heal. You kind of have to have Quagmire just tank some Glob hits and hope that you can get going from there. Never noticed the Glob, like, bursts a bubble when you click on it. All right, so Alien Engineer with the healing spot plan, there's really no reason not to, right? This is at 1,300 health, 2,500 health on this Glob, and with no displacement, I just don't know what Mecho does here. Quagmire has a maximum of 2,200, so 1,200. Just checking some stuff, chat. Just checking some admin stuff thing, chat. I'm not ignoring people. Whoop. Oh my god, what the hell happened? Jesus, chat, I look away for like 30 seconds. How the hell did this Glob... I mean, I know how the Glob got up there, but like, what the hell... Chat, not one of you said anything. I'm looking away for not one of you said a damn thing when this Glob just hauled ass across the map. This Glob just hauled ass across the map. Nom the snowball, and nobody said a word. I just said, uh-oh. Yeah. Okay, fair. Epic Name said, uh-oh, with, like, no reference to what was going on. Glob did a slash teleport from Minecraft? Yeah, exactly. Is this a good play? I mean, you actually... Yeah, you can probably beat this up. $800 health. Oh my god. This is going to live with 4 health. Alright, we got to turn off the notifications so that people could see the end of this game. I have you in the background so I didn't see a thing. You're missing out. Mechoed on the ropes here. Gonna be tough to pull this one back. Yeah. 404 health. Like, that's just brutal. The 4 health. Because if double slaps from Quagmire kept this alive, or killed this, maybe, or, like, hit, maybe there's a world in which something happens, because the Quagmire could just, like, run around a lot, heal up. 404 HP not found. Well, actually, it found the HP. That's the problem. That's the problem. Power down here on the bow. I mean, Mechoed isn't out of it. It's just going to be extremely difficult to dodge all of these things. Like, the Glob is going to catch Oopsie Baby if it doesn't just die here. It's actually just going to die. 2 hits from this, and then, like I said, the Quagmire can't solo the a tractor this turn. I don't think this is necessary. That being said, I think it kind of doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to, like, slap the heart to death. The glob. Got him. Plus, here's another funny thing, like, Mechode can't reclaim the panic points because the glob will now forever be in position to eat the Quagmire. I don't want to call it too early, chat, but I think it's worth switching to another one. This one I think is over. Well, whoa. Speaking of misanthrope. All right, Gravedigger, thanks for hanging out. Were there any brute worst plays tonight? We're just getting started. There's still hope for you, Rybread. Chat, I think word of the untimely death of Boss Cupcake was greatly exaggerated. What is happening right meow? There's a... What? What is happening? Were there any bloat plays? Just getting started. The game we were just watching was literally the first one. So we're switching out of it so we can try and make sure we get to look at some of the other ones because, like I said, I don't want to call it early, but that one feels decided. This one, I don't know what is happening. Like, I don't know, Shadow Force. I feel like you're about to get slapped with it. You're fired. But Ludo's out of keys. Shadow Force still has keys. Oh, the Clinico's live? There's so much to assess on this board. I think you do Clinico. Yeah, this makes sense, because you don't want to get your fired onto the Gravedigger as well. 300 damage buff. The newly nerfed boss. Jar could die. There's a lot of things that could die here. It's just a question of... So, if anybody played Magic and you remember the card Fact or Fiction, that's what this scenario reminds me of. It's like, which one do you want to get hit? That's also a juicy boss ult. I mean, all of the scenarios were. So, it's really just, what's Ludo going to choose? Taking down the Gravedigger, going to take down the Clinico, eventually going to take down the Corn. Advancing on the Jar, I think I like this more. I think this makes more sense. Now, notably, there's still a Snowball and Jar, or not Jar, Snowball, because Jar's on the board, available for Shadow Force. Does the retaliation work? Because there's 1 to 2 more Phobies, probably not 1-1-1. I guess it's possible, but it's unlikely. I think this boss might die. Yeah, this boss should die. It's just a question of how. All right, so boss is not gonna get cooked. Did Shadow Force miscount? Okay, Shadow Force had to, like, panic kill this because I think they thought the boss was going to die. But now it's Gravedigger and Slayer versus a very healthy boss. I think this one's also... I think the story is written. I believe this story is at its end. Plus a key, exactly. Can't even play, like, panic point games. I'm not really sure why the Slayer happened, but sure. Also a heart damage advantage, so Shadow Force can hypothetically just sprint around the map and claim panic points. And hilariously enough, walk the boss onto here, claim this point, and then you can still light up the heart. I think Ludo's just kind of doing things. Lol. Yep. Shadow Force sees the key to victory. The path is ahead. It is straight. It is right at the heart. I think this one's in the bag, chat. I think we can safely call this one. Let me check on the other games. I think this is the last live game, so we're just going to finish out with this one, chat. Then we'll get into round 2. I honestly don't think Shadow Force needed to do this, but it's possible. I guess maybe. Like, Gravedigger plus Panic Points might have been fast enough. I would have just rushed. It's possible there isn't enough damage, but I just don't see how that's true. You kill it in 2 turns. That being said, you could just kill the Gravedigger, and it's that simple. It's just simple. You end all of their phobies. Shadow Force, the master of the boss. Shadow Force taking the W over Ludo. GG. We'll start with Alien Engineer, because the other game didn't want to load. That's fair, Rybread. So we're here on Phobopolis, which, interestingly enough, I was commenting about it in between games, that this was, oddly enough, picked by multiple people across multiple matches, which is just odd. I thought people hated this map. So I'm going to keep an eye on what the... we're getting kind of a lull here. Alien Engineer really taking it in, trying to see what their play is. So it's Phobopolis, Phobopolis, and like and subscribe seem to be the maps chosen. Uh-oh. Alien Engineer, what are you doing? What do we got here? Hope they didn't disconnect. That would be no bueno. Uh-oh. I highly doubt this is their ideal turn 1 play. Like, I get getting the sense this is not gonna go well. Oh no, not like this. Not like this! This does happen. It's an online game. Rules are already in play. It's not me disconnecting. We'll see. We'll reload. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Womp wah. We'll jump into the other Phobopolis game for now. Keeping an eye on what's going on. Oh, no, it is the same one. Sorry, I'm trying to keep an eye on Discord and see what's happening. This is actually the same game, so it looked like my connection must have just been bad, so I stand corrected. Sorry, I clicked on it as we were loading in, and I'm watching Discord at the same time. Trying to watch Discord at the same time. So it looks like we didn't get a disconnect. Thank God. We got a real game. We also got a Poison Ivy. Everybody strap in. I hope you stretched and went to the potty, because this may be a long one. They're gearing up for a long one. I don't have enough water to last a long game, chat. Multiple 1 keys coming down for Alien Engineer, but still banking 7. Shadow Force, obviously, with the early Fire Ant, honestly, Fire Ant is just a terror on this map. Fire Ant is just a terror on this map. All right, all the other games seem like they're underway. Easy takedown on the cat there. Panic point advantage orange for now. Getting some pot shots going down onto the Hevo. There's no real threat here from Alien Engineer onto this jar, so any way to soften up the Hevo while you can. Obviously, there's no chance that Hevo's coming in to threaten anything. It'll just get annihilated in retaliation. It actually might not... Will it die? Oh yeah, it should die. It should die. Or if it isn't dead, it's pretty close. Klepto coming in to supplement. Now, this was... Let's see. This was Shadow Force's map pick. So Shadow Force decided to show up on this map. I mean, if you got Fire Ant, I can absolutely understand why. I kind of get it. Did I disconnect again? No. Alien Engineer's just thinking. Now I'm worried about every time there's a long pause. Alright, so just repositioning to get the Klepto and Poison Ivy set up a little bit differently. I mean, both players have access to a terraform, so there's still a lot of things that can happen. This is a large map, so the 1-0 panic point advantage doesn't mean a whole lot yet. But banking to 6... I mean, I have to imagine that Alien Engineer put the Poison Ivy on the board strictly to counter the Fire Ant. There's not a whole lot of value outside of that, given the current setup. You're going to expect probably a Hevo of some variety out of Shadow Force. I don't know if Alien Engineer has access to a Fire Ant of their own. Presumably, if they did, they would have used that instead. But we'll see. All right, double Terraform out of Shadow Force. This is going to allow for a lot more mobility. A lot more available positions. Just breaking the entire map apart. Now, I'm a big fan of Crushmore on this map, although I often send it through the mid and try and set up a heebie-jeebie special, and I usually get my Crushmore crushed. So, don't know if I'm necessarily the best person to be asking for Crushmore strategy on this particular map. But both players showing the other one a lot of respect here, not willing to hastily take a turn or offer anything up as an easy takedown. So if we do see one, I have to imagine that it's bait. They're going to be offering something up for a reason. So the issue with the Poison Ivy is the anti-Fire Ant here. Wait, really? Okay. I guess. So what I was going to say is the issue with the Poison Ivy as the anti-Fire Ant is that the jar does mean that, yeah, the Poison Ivy won't die, but it is going to take a lot of chip damage over time as you try and eliminate some of these traps. Try and set them off by placing your own. The attractor is interesting. Eventually, this center area probably gets opened up by one player or another. But due to the double obstacles in the center here on both the north and the southern ends, it's going to be tough to get through and actually get a connection with this. So this is kind of an interesting choice. So 6 Phobies to 6. I imagine both players are going to bank for a little bit after this. And Shadow Force, I feel, is at the advantage. They don't have the panic point advantage yet. So Alien Engineer does have a clock, if you want to call it that, but it's not really very threatening at this point. The reason I say that Shadow Force is an advantage is that the double Terraform is just going to take its toll. I'm not sure how Alien Engineer can test that without getting a Crush more of their own, but that's going to max them out unless Shadow Force elects to try and start trading 1 keys, and then you can kind of keep that 1 spot open. Or just once you sack your Contortio, assuming you do, you just don't replace it, so that way you lock Shadow Force into their 7th Phobie. Maybe. No, because they'll still be at 6. Because they're going to trade. They'll send in Cowbell, you send in Contortio, they send in something else, and then you don't send in something, so they're still at 6 Phobies. If they were to trade, Shadow Force wins the trade war. I mean, yeah, but I don't think that's what this map is going to come down to. Not this map in general, but I guess this game is a better way to put it. I just don't see how they just trade 1 keys back and forth. Alien Engineer does do that a lot on ladder. On small maps, Alien Engineer is kind of infamously bludgeon people with a tractor by running them out of keys. And, you know, like, Lights Out is a common one, where you run them out of keys and then just bully them with a tractor. But I don't think that's what it's going to come down to here. I think this is going to come down to, can Alien Engineer set up an attractor play? Unlikely. Or can Shadow Force set up a Fire Ant play, which the longer the game goes on, the more likely that reality becomes. Because eventually, too much of this map is going to be coated in traps, and this Poison Ivy is now like, what the hell is this Poison Ivy doing down here? I think the goal is to get traps on both of these spots, so that way if Crushmore decides to come in, you can get it, maybe? But now with an attractor on Shadow Force's side, Alien Engineer's left with, hey, I have to do something. Now, they are at 10 keys and 7 Phobies on Shadow Force's side. So, like, an Akira here might work out, because then you get Akira pull into the attractor yoink into maybe take down something relevant. You do have a panic point advantage, so that means that Shadow Force does have the out of just sending in the Cowbell and replacing with whatever they need, because they're also at 10 keys. Alien Engineer now with 15, happy to play the patient game. Now, with the Gravedigger all the way back here, it is active, Alien Engineer's Gravedigger, but it is nowhere near close. I mean, yeah, it could break this block, but that's not... You know, for example, if it was on the panic point, it could threaten a break here, and then you yoink the Crushmore and jar, but that's not something that Shadow Force is going to let happen normally. Obviously, there's no way to get at this attractor now. So we're looking at another few turns of repositioning and threatening positions before we're probably going to see something significant actually happening. But again, that Fire Ant is going to be peppering the top of that map in fire traps. And it's going to be exceptionally dangerous to move around. So Alien Engineer is electing to play it safe or breaking this block back by their heart. Sure. I mean, to be honest, the heebie-jeebies special here from Shadow Force might not be terrible. It'll take some time for Alien Engineer to crack through it. Like, this is already on cooldown. This just went on cooldown, so you're not going to be able to break it, right? Nah, I guess this will be back in time. All hydrate action. Almost out of water. Because I was thinking Crushmore could come in and block here. That lets you flip the panic point safely, but I think the Gravedigger will be able to just break it and then you yoink. And it may not be a profitable yoink, though, because you could get the Crushmore, but then maybe the counter yoink from this attractor is threatening enough. Plus, if there's maybe another trap here, because the Fire Ant was near the center point for a little bit. Keep hearing about a heebie-jeebie special. Is that just another term for rushing all your phobies to enemies? Nope. So the heebie-jeebie special is if you drop a terraformed statue from either Crushmore or Gravedigger in order to block off a pathway from your opponent. So, for example, this obstacle that's right here between where I'm clicking, in between the panic point and then the natural obstacle, would be a heebie-jeebie special because it cuts off any access from Alien Engineer to that point. It's blocking off a choke point with one of the statues. So you commonly see it on, say, well, not commonly, but on Bifsarum. You know, if you block the top center entry point from the vault, that works at low levels, hence heebie-jeebies. It works at low skill levels, so it does show up in other games, higher level games, but it's obviously much rarer because people will punish poor positioning much harder. People are prepared for it, but there you go. It's the heebie-jeebie special. So this is going to buy some time because the Alien Engineer's Crushmore is not prepared. You can beat this up. Obviously, this is in range. This can splash. This can hit. This can hit if you want. But there's traps here. There's lobbers. There's this yoink. So, like, if you get it low, then the Gravedigger could break its own block, and then you pull things through with the attractor, and your life is ruined. So this could buy Shadow Force some time. It allows Shadow Force to cap this point safely, because odds are the Gravedigger survives, and then you maintain your cowbell, so that way, if Alien Engineer flips the point again, you can flip it back. So there was a trap here, an interesting trap placement from a while ago due to this Poison Ivy, which does weaken the statue, but it's not quite enough to do it yet, I don't think. No, I take it back. You can break it, but is it worth it? It is. If you could kill this, but I don't think you can kill this. There might be a way to do this. I just don't know if it's worth. Yeah, because you're just not going to be able to... Like, you need the Poison Ivy and other things to be able to hit the statue. I think Alien Engineer is going to run out of time on this plan. I don't think there's any way to break the statue this turn and kill the Gravedigger. I don't think you have enough damage on the board. $20 off because Snowball does $420 if they really wanted it. Yeah. It's close, but you did the math faster than I could, Coro. This is just safer. It just kind of sucks because of all the reasons of why it's advantageous for Shadow Force. You can't punish it as Alien Engineer here, so the tempo is now in favor of Shadow Force. They do have less keys. They are maxed out on Phobies, but they are able to get these plays set up going forward because now they have the panic point advantage, and you as Alien Engineer are forced to commit into them. And, of course, since you as Shadow Force have your own attractor, any advance into range is super dicey. I think we have to assume there's now a trap south of this Kivo. Excuse me. All right, so we got the repositioning battle. There is a break available, but the attractor's on the wrong side of creation. And even if you go up here, there's 100% a trap in one of these, maybe two of these three spaces. Now, notably, both of these are on cooldown, so the advancement from Alien Engineer's attractor is safe. Like, there isn't really a risk here because there's no way to get to it. At least not with meaningful damage. You could advance into it, but you're not going to get anything done. Other than maybe lose half your team. And this is why we're glad to have Arena Timers chat. An async game between these players might take forever just because they're both very good, and they, as mentioned earlier, they both respect each other, so they're not going to be overly aggressive in any of these games. Although I think a chess timer would still be really awesome for this. I think it would be really cool to see how they work under that particular line of pressure. Is Hevo slowly getting whittled down? Make that the third mode? I mean, I've been asking for it. If you're watching this on YouTube, go make a suggestion to the devs that you want a chess timer in front of me. I know people keep asking for 2v2. And Karst was trying to posit... I forget the name of the chess mode. It's like an alternative chess setup for 2v2. And... it was a cool idea, but I'd rather have the chess timers. I'd rather have the chess timers, personally. So we did miss it earlier. That Alien Engineer had broken this obstacle up here. This is interesting. I don't know how much it matters, but it did happen. It did happen. The Alien Engineer refusing to put that 7th phobie on the board. Still with 14 keys available. What's interesting is that you could put, you know, a 9 key on the board and still have plenty of keys to do something reasonable afterwards. Whereas for Shadow Force, you put a 9 key on the board and it's like, all right, you got one more 1 key. Though I will say Haffy and Smiley will be a pain. Their animation when attacking takes so long. Yeah, there are some phobies. Akira's ability activation is another one. Muffin. Some of them chew up a lot of time, which is part of the reason why a chess timer might be more valuable, because you can, you know, the important turn isn't ruined, we'll say, by testing things out and ensuring that it works, or it's not ruined as hard, whereas you could easily in arena timers chew up an enormous amount of time just because you're waiting for the animation to play out to be like, oh, well, I'm short by 14 damage or something like that. That will still happen with the traditional chess timer, but I think that it offers some advantages over the existing arena timer. Arena makes sense given mobile games, but I think that there's value doing it a different way, or having the option, that is. We gotta fill the silence somehow as the players are staring at each other. As mentioned earlier, I really do feel that Shadow Force is an advantage due to the double terraform. Any turn where Alien Engineer takes a moment off in order to break blocks on their side instead of breaking a block or creating a block offensively to pressure Shadow Force is a turn that Shadow Force is able to leverage because they're able to do both. And at this rate, they're going to blow up. Like, look at how much more surface area is available for Shadow Force to move around in now that those more than 3 initial obstacles are destroyed. Whereas Alien Engineer still has to contend with this center one. They will be in a similar position soon. But then we're going to start seeing these blocks come down and maybe locking Alien Engineer out again. Maybe repeatedly locking them out. Who knows? Thrilling turn from Alien Engineer electing do nothing, essentially. It could be async arena chess timer. Each mode makes the game more and more stressful because of the time reduction. Possibly. I mean, I don't know if chess timers really... The time is a factor. It's just different from arena. I don't know if it's necessarily more stressful. My match didn't go like this. It was more chaotic. Fair. Yeah, I imagine some of the other games are finishing up. Let's see. So Shinra wins their game. The other ones are still going. This one's probably going to be going on for some time. I have to assume that the other games are going to finish before this one completes. This one's going to take over an hour. I mean, we'll see. Could be the longest monster of the week yet. These aren't timed. I do have timers on the Fright Night games, but we don't time monster of the week. Typically, games don't go this long. But when you have 2 players of this caliber, it's going to happen. Wait, do we have a block available? Uh-oh, was there a mistake made? I don't think there's enough damage here. Unless there's a trap randomly here, which I highly doubt. You could kill this. I feel like Alien Engineer just is throwing away their... Yeah. Unless you get 2 things. Like, you have to get the Fire Ant and the Jar, I think, in order to make this worth it. Okay, so this was available, but again, there's just not enough damage. Alien Engineer's just not in position to kill this. Unless they're banking on... I was going to say, maybe they're banking on the idea that there is a trap from the Fire Ant that they can intentionally trigger to kill the attractor, but that doesn't seem likely. But Alien Engineer astutely backing off. There was too much risk here from the Crushmore breaking, and then Shadow Force's attractor pull actually progressing the game state, we'll say. The game state has been progressing technically. 4K health. What do you start with? 8,000 on this map? Maybe? 7,000? I don't remember. This Evo is just getting the snot slapped out of it. This Jar just has a hatred for the Evo. Oh. And a ping. Oh, it's not related. Different Discord server. Want to make sure the other players didn't need something. It was like A. Markand took their game. Closing in. Let me know. Wake me up when something that's not a 1 key dies. Yeah. Yeah. So I put it out there to you, chat, and to you, YouTube, watching this later. Is this a map design issue? Is this strictly because of the player's strategies? Because this is the sort of game that I think most people would want to try to avoid. There are people who enjoy this sort of long, drawn-out, excruciating experience, but most people want a quicker game, and this is why I usually argue against or take issue with many... Wow, that's a burned muffin just to heal this Hevo from all the chip damage from the jar. It's one of the reasons that I tend to argue against a lot of the changes that the community presents to Phobies, because in many cases, I think that it would encourage more of this and less of the sort of game that most people really want, I think. Gonzo. Really? That's the 7th phobie there for Alien Engineer. Is it? Yes, it is. I thought they were going to undo it. There is another trap expenditure. Both terraforms are live. Does that mean anything? I mean, you could do the heebie-jeebies special again. I don't think there's any meaningful way that Alien Engineer, especially, they can't supplement any other phobies. Both can still play Akira. Honestly, I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen an Akira at this stage, simply because that would be a way to break the stalemate. This is... The times when I defend a tractor and defend Akira and defend phobies like that is to break situations like this. Obviously, there's tractors on the boards, but this is a large map. So if something similar to this happened on a small map, a tractor's a common way to try and force the game to its conclusion. On larger maps, Akira kind of fills that role, because you can set up those big wombo plays where, oh, you didn't honor it perfectly, all right, the game now ends. You can debate about whether that's healthy or you want that sort of thing to happen, but that is kind of what happens. So at this point, Shadow Force now pressing their advantage, getting geared up because they know that in order to take down this cowbell, we're going to have to see these two start to get involved. I don't mind long games, but these are way too long. I feel like a tractor, which is helping progress it, it can also make it even longer because you don't want to advance and get annihilated. Yes. Dead jar? I don't think there was any way to get it. Because the only thing that could hit it was the Hevo, because it's, there's 7 phobies on the board, and you can't gonzo it. Like, nothing down here can connect with it. Yeah, Snowball can't reach, because, yeah, they're maxed out. That's what I was pointing out earlier with the gonzo. I agree, a tractor can also lead to stalemates, and I think that's what's happening here. I would have to think about, like, does a tractor accelerate more games than it slows down? I'm not really sure, to be perfectly honest. However, this does kind of exemplify the point I typically make about a tractor, where let's assume a tractor was banned, like it has been in the past in Monster of the Week, or if a tractor just didn't exist in the game. How would this game end other than just 200 damage a turn with the panic points if both players are using, like, Octonauty and Miss Moffat? Like, does the game get faster or slower if there were no attractors here? Yeah, Akira is probably the answer, is that both players would have to go Akira, but these are the phobies that people are at the top of most people's lists of what should get changed. I mean, Akira did get changed, but attractor next. And the question becomes, if we assume that these are going to stalemate, is it really attractor or is it the map? Because if we assume attractor's not here, we assume Akira's not here, how does the game accelerate towards its end? Like, can it? Because realistically, if either player advanced into the other player's team in any meaningful capacity in this game, the aggressing player, the aggressive player, the aggressor, would be dead. They would just get wiped out on the counterattack. And then the game just completely flips. It's possible somebody makes a mistake, but that seems like the logical conclusion in a deterministic game state. I don't know if attractor is meaningfully elongating the game. Whoa, Blasto? So you can, if Alien Engineer claims the center, you can like Blasto and zap the heart? That's a dead jar? Is this a throw? Why did Blasto have? Probably wants to get the game over with, I guess. Because that's what the Blasto's for, pull and kill. Yeah, I mean, you can yoink here and you get double basic hits because you could, like, move up and pull. No, you won't, right? Well, yes, you could, because you could rearrange this so that you pull both of these forward and then you get, like, double hits on... Well, you get double splash hits on the Hevo, and then you get a hit with it. Like, yeah, you could possibly... Oh, you're going to clean this up. Yeah. I think Shadow Force might have baited Alien Engineer here. This is game? Yeah, 100% this is game. It's gotta be. This Hevo's dead. Alien Engineer does still have 9 keys, but remember, this Fire Ant has been around since turn 1. Honestly, I think you could make the argument that Fire Ant had more of a negative impact on this game as far as elongating it than Attractor did. I think that Fire Ant had way more of a negative impact than Attractor did. Now, ultimately, again, I think this all comes back to the Phobopolis as a map inherently favors long-term games, which is fine. Now, it was 100% Bat? Batula? I don't know what Bat is. Murder Wing? Both Fire Ant players won their Phobopolis games. What a surprise. Who'da thunk it? Well, I like this play from Alien Engineer. I mean, you know that you're not going to win the long game now. It's a trapper, it will regardless, and since it's a lobber map even more, true. Oh, Brony play, Tread. Is Brony the out? Is Brony the out? I don't think Brony's gonna do it, but I do love the attempt. Hold up. Let him cook. Dead Klepto, you can Maggie it. Wait, what? Yeah, only 6 phobies. Only 6 phobies. You go 2 hits, 1 hit Maggie. That's 8. That's 12. Plus Maggie is whatever at level 1. I don't know. I mean, the Gravedigger's 100% dead. I mean, I don't hate the Brony idea. I don't know what alternative you have at this stage. You got to go for something, right? Like, you need some kind of Hail Mary. And to be honest, if you can get it into the center... Honestly, like, would you have been better off trying to be, like, hyper-aggressive and putting the Brony here? I don't think there was a way... Maybe there was a way for Shadow Force to kill it. 250... 5, 7, we'll say 6,000... I think you could only get like 1,800 damage on it. I think Alien Engineer should have run the Brony up one more space. Because then it could go here, and then it's 1, 2, 3. It would have gotten these 3. And this. The only thing it would not have hit was the Blasto. If the Brony was up one space. Now, the Brony then probably dies to a trap on the follow-up turn. Maybe that's what they're fearing right now, is that there's a trap on this space that's in front of Brony. I've kind of lost track, to be perfectly honest. He's pinging in Discord again. It's the same thing. I think this is the same thing. The longest monster of the week yet, chat. Easily. Alright, so this is safer Brony positioning because you know that there's no traps up there. So you swing the Brony up, like, if it's here, hopefully everybody can see where I'm pinging, like, to the northwest of the center panic point. You claim everything right now, but one of these is probably going to go down here, or you pop something out to... Yep. Alien Engineer's going for it, and there's only 2,400 health on this heart. Like, this is not impossible until you consider the 7 million traps that are here. Like, there's almost definitely a trap here. Alien Engineer is desperately trying to get inside Shadow Force's head right now to figure out where all those traps are. Like, I know you have traps. Where did you put them? The problem is that, yeah, this is an Alien Engineer special. The challenge here is there's no great place to put your stuff because so much... Oh, my God! The carnage! Yeah. That's an oof moment. That's a big oof. Fire Ant prevails once again. You might be correct. There's a world. It's still not impossible. It is exceptionally unlikely, but I'm not going to say it's impossible. So Brony comes in here, turns everything off. Klepto then goes... I was going to say sprint to this point, but it can't make it, so it probably takes the center one, which may or may not also be trapped. Then Klepto... Actually, no, the Brony won't connect. The Brony is not going to connect with a lot now, so yeah, this blue... I don't know if blue was necessary. I don't know if blue was necessary. Blue player using blue. The evidence checks out. Down goes a tractor. Down goes Alien Engineer's hopes? Question mark? You only power off 2K health on the heart. If you could reach this panic point, you might not be in terrible shape. Blue is just a representation of Alien Engineer's anger at this point. What? Sure. I don't know what that means. Klepto and Gonzo might go down this turn. Obviously, this panic point's going to get reclaimed, the bottom one. If Alien Engineer can't maintain a panic point advantage through this turn, I think the game's over. Okay. If there's no trap on this center panic point, it is possible for Alien Engineer to win this game. Can we get a 2-key reskin of blue called orange? We talked about that. I want the whole rainbow, like Roy G. Biv, of different colored balloons. And I want them to just be named after whatever the color is. So yeah, like blue, orange, yellow, green, red, etc. Be such a good comeback. It would be a great comeback if Alien Engineer could pull this off. And like they have the line, but Shadow Force is seeing what needs to happen. They have to claim these panic points. This body blocks out the squiggles, which is a big deal. This might mean that the Klepto and Gonzo survive, though, and Gonzo is live. Yeah, there's no way there's a trap here if Shadow Force is undoing it and placing things like this. So the blue is not going to claim the point. It's actually going to power down the Klepto. Wait, the Klepto is going to die. No, Klepto dies to fire, so there might be a trap here. There might still be a trap, because then the Gonzo lives. The Gonzo will live, but barely? No trap. But the panic points are flipped. Yeah, Brony goes here. That makes sense. I think Squiggles runs to, like, next to Blasto, like, behind Blasto. Squiggles has how much health? 950? It doesn't matter, because this and the Blasto can connect with it no matter what. I think this is over. I think this is over. No, you gotta move the squiggles. I don't know that it matters. Don't put it there. Make them move the tractor. A tractor pull is down. For all that matters. I think you leave it on the panic point. It doesn't matter. I think this is over. I don't think there's any positioning that gets Alien Engineer out of this. The Klepto had to live. This does nothing. Fire Ant really is the MVP? Yeah, Fire Ant was MVP. I think the idea here for Alien Engineer is that Squiggles get... But, like, Squiggles connecting once more does nothing. This does prevent the... Nah, it doesn't even prevent it. Ted... Yeah, Ted could have killed this. And then this just hits this twice. Crushmore takes a panic point, and then there's just not enough damage because you're only going to connect with Squiggles once. Oh, never mind. You can kill it anyway. I thought that attacked twice. There's too many undos. GG. Ooh, the marathon. Very well played by both players, but yeah. That Fire Ant's pretty good. Pretty good. GG. Here we are. Once again. As mentioned in the previous game, I sure hope you went to the potty before we started, because strap in, folks. This is probably going to be a long one. Shadow Force, A. Markand. What we're going to call the finals of Monster of the Week 15 Event C. No one's going to watch Game 2 on YouTube. They'll fall asleep. I just know it. I'm going to have to start padding out future Monster of the Weeks to, like, just put empty space at the end of it so that people think, oh, well, the other games are this long, too. Game 3, not Game 2. Well, it's Game 2 on this map. Game 2 on this map is kind of what I meant, but... not Game 2 between the players, but... Now, notably, well... I was going to say Shadow Force didn't immediately get up to 7 keys for the Fire Ant, but if you look carefully up there in the corner for our blue player, that's in fact lucky number 7. Lucky number 7, and I have to imagine that there's going to be a Fire Ant in A. Markin's future. The big question becomes, can A. Markin find a way out of it that Alien Engineer could not? Because the Poison Ivy did not answer it. Like, that just was not good enough. Truth be told, I don't know what an appropriate answer would be. How do you answer Fire Ant on this map? I do think that if Alien Engineer in the previous game had maybe gotten their own Crushmore online, they could have engineered something. I get it, because they're Alien Engineer. They could have made something happen. But since they didn't, they didn't. We're out of water. I have a little bit of Gatorade left, chat. Gatorade probably not the best for my kidneys at the moment, but I need some kind of hydration. And we can't leave this game. There's so much that's going to happen with the Fire Ant laying down 7,000 traps, and we stare at each other until our eyes bleed. Now, A. Markin taking a wildly different strategy than Alien Engineer did. We have yet to see a Terraformer. As soon as I say it, I swear to God. But Panic Point advantage, Shadow Force start. Bro, spoiling the game. No one will watch it. If you made it this far, is it really spoiling it? If you made it this far, is it really spoiling it? You know what we could do, chat? We could check on the other games, because I imagine this is going to be a extended board state for some time. So we will do that. Let's take a peek at the other games. We can always come back into this one. No, we can't? The hell? Okay, that was weird. We'll take a peek at Master Dark real quick. So they're on Castaway, choosing one of the new maps. We're not going to watch a Fire Ant game here. We will check back on the Fire Ant Bowl, I guess. We'll see how that goes momentarily. Rearranging the drinks on my desk, so that way I don't accidentally knock something over. Master Dark with an aggressive stance, 3-1 Panic Point advantage. Jin Sting occupying the enemy stim. I have mixed feelings on Castaway. Castaway looks pretty interesting so far. It's at least currently led to some really hilarious games from the few that we've observed. That may not continue to be the case. But for now, it's been funny. On one hand, I think it's cool. On the other, the only game I played here, I lost. But on the third hand, did you get to see the Jaws game that we watched on this the other night? Because that was funny. That was a funny game. So here's the real question. Does Master... Yeah, it was Werewolf racing Jaws. Werewolf on one player's heart, Jaws on the other. And it was a race. It was hilarious. Yes. Mark can play Wait, what? Hold on, chat. We need to switch back. Holy shit. What? What? All right, chat. So, A. Morgan's taking a wildly different strategy than what Haley Engineer did. Oh, my God. And you thought this game would be boring, chat. Oh, ye of little faith. Oh, ye of little faith. A. Markin, the people's champion, salvaging the Phobopolis fire ant tragedy. Yo, look at Gravedigger's biceps. Gravedigger's got some big arms. Zay Markin isn't boring anymore. They were boring before. What was because of the Repeller Crushmore plays? They were one of the first people to champion that, if that's where you're going with it. Yeah, they went Repeller a lot at one point because it worked, but they were also one of the first people to implement it, I think. Them and there was somebody else. Potenzia? Honestly, I don't know how well this Charon's going to work, but all right. Let's see it. All right, we got a little Hevo action going on. Terraform not available just yet. Double Terraform from Shadow Force. This is clearly a well-practiced strategy. Jar can no longer take free hits. True. Notably, 450 damage, 420 health. Haha. Funny number. I imagine there's a trap going down here. So Charon's going to have to work overtime to crap out more puke. That's a hell of a visual, isn't it? Crapping out more puke. Shadow Force not willing to take any risks here. If we get a stalemate turn, we'll swap to another game and come back. Notably, no takedown so far. Both players being very cautious with every key. And every second of their turn, it would appear. Oh my god, for a second, I thought the jar was going to end up here. Because, like, the turn just ended. I mean, he is the ferryman of the underworld, so how much overtime can Charon really work? I mean, Charon's been working overtime for a long time, if you look at it from that perspective. You know what's funny? The idle animation for Charon, like, it expands the puke. Charon also apparently has legs. I always thought that, like, or it kind of looks like, maybe he doesn't, it just, like, I don't know. Ooh, that's a big hit, but that's, it's kind of scary if you don't. Alright, this makes sense. Then you walk the Charon up. Wait, you're gonna walk it all the way down there? Interesting, alright. There's obviously not a trap where Hevo's going. Hevo goes in, gets the pot shot. Will take some retaliatory damage. There's the potential that there's a trap in the center and this Hevo's going to get cooked. But I don't think there's any way this Hevo dies. This Hevo in the north gets cooked. Amarkin banking to 10, leaving plenty of room open for healers. Only 5 phobies on the board to 6. But this damage adds up over time. I mean, getting this damage onto, especially the Gravedigger, which admittedly there is the Crushmore, who's also getting damage, but these are getting weakened so that they can be taken out as soon as Shadow Force exposes them. As we saw in the previous game, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for damage to go down on either player's phobies. That's why the chip damage on the Hevo added up, forced that random muffin. Maybe that key could have played in to Alien Engineer's plans later in the game. But instead here, we're seeing Shadow Force taking all the chip damage. Notably, Cowbell will tank this. Cowbell gonna survive the fire. Because we didn't start the fire. It was always the cocktail party. I don't think there's an aggressive play to be made here. There's a world in which a Markand actually turns off this bottom panic point with Charon. In fact, I think that's probably optimal, because then it, at the very least, evens the panic points out, gives you some opportunity to try and set something up. This Hevo's got to vacate, which means that maybe this Fire Ant could be aggressive and claim the top panic point. Erratic coming out is obviously a departure from Shadow Force's game plan in the first game. Down to 10 keys, like, yep, turn off the bottom panic point. When Charon is better than Doom Doom, I love him, but my boy doesn't do its job too well. I don't know. I think Doom Doom, we've actually, I'm coming around on Doom Doom. He's still weak. I think he could use a small buff, but I don't think it's going to take a lot to get him into a valuable state. And Charon, they serve similar purposes, but I think Charon and Doom Doom might have just, while they're similar purposes, that there are enough niches for both of them to exist. All your problems can be solved if they get burned down. Evo 3.0 2024. Hashtag buff trap absorber. I don't think they'd do that. I think it would be fine if Doom Doom got a stat buff. You just have to be careful, because you don't, as I think I talked about in one of the other games, you don't want Doom Doom to just completely push other 5 keys out. You know, like, I know people love to crap on Cyclops and Stairmaster, but imagine if Doom Doom just literally had Cyclops' stats. Why would you ever use Cyclops, right? Like, there's just literally no reason to use it. And that's what you want to avoid. I feel like Charon is better for fire. Better for fire and I had to reread it. I'm like, are you making a mistake? But I realize you're just making a fun play on words. Charon is better for fire and Doom Doom is better for other trappers. Like, I had to reread it because I'm like, wait, what is happening? Are you okay? So, back to the game, I do like the aggressive pressure from a Markand, just no fear, claiming this center panic point, because what is there to fear from this position? What, like, all right, my Hevo has 1 billion health. Your erratic is, like, on Venus right now. Meant to be fire trap. Chat, you wanted to see a shove shark. Be careful what you wish for. That is a shove shark. We got 7 keys. We got 12 keys. Let's see how these players play it out. This is getting spicy. We're getting some spicy Molotov cocktails as opposed to bland Molotov cocktails. I don't really know where I was going with that one. I think Shove Shark actually just... Russell! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Russell would actually be hilarious. I'm not even trolling, chat. Russell would actually be ridiculous. Legit ridiculous. Russell would actually be insane. I don't know if A. Markand has Russell. I legitimately don't know if A. Markand has Russell. If they do, they didn't think of it. But real talk, Russell would be redonkulous. Because look at this. Only Jar is immune. You got 3 undead, a damaged dimensional, a damaged fire ant. This thing only has 1,200 health. Russell would actually, like, that might end the game. Like, real talk, that might end the game on the spot. Because Shadow Force would not have enough time to push up. Not meaningfully. Because what are you going to do, push up into the Hevo 3.0? You just lose then, right? Russell is 8 keys. Yeah, it's no longer an option. As soon as the attractor came down, it no longer was an option. And don't get me wrong, this is not a bad play from A. Markand, and A. Markand may not have Russell, like, access to it. But if you have Russell, unless you just got Russell, from now on, like, once you've used a Russell, you go, I need to constantly think about, are they maxed out? And if they're maxed out, is there any way for them to heal or get a healer on the board reasonably? No, slam Russell. Because you're probably going to take over the game. Now, we don't have as much heart pressure. It actually is more heart pressure here on A. Markand than Shadow Force than what we saw in the previous game against Alien Engineer. But we're getting some Shove Shark shenanigans set up. How about that for alliteration? I'm officially out of beverages, chat. But I'm pretty sure this will be the last game. I mean, this is the last round, but, like, this, I doubt any of the other games are going to go as long as this one. So, A. Markand does have to be disciplined here as far as continuing to apply the Charon poop everywhere. Just smear it all over everything. And notably, A. Markand still has a slot open. They can still commit another body to the board. And this is now a 4-to-1 panic point advantage. I don't know that I love this. Mischance are not possible. Russell would have been great. Yeah, I'm assuming it... The reason I said if you're a Russell player, like, or a Russell haver, if you have a Russell, you look for those plays. If you've used it at all, you know to look for those plays. So I am under the impression that A. Markand doesn't have it. Such a graphic description of Charon's ability. Oh, I can get more graphic, but we're not going to. So a quick pot shot going down onto A. Markand's Crushmore. Erratic inching its way up. Clinico will be available soon. The continued demolition of Phobopolis. Cooldown on this will be up soon, so I don't think like a heebie-jeebies special really helps here. However, you have to keep in mind, and this is something that I was talking about earlier, because whoever brought up about some of the more powerful phobies being boring, Evo does get interesting, more interesting, Evo 3.0 specifically, when you have a Terraformer on the board, because you can extend it to effectively a 3-tile range, because you drop the statue, you target the statue, and then you hit the thing behind it. So if A. Markand can hold onto this statue, this Terraform, there are some cute things that could happen. However, there, of course, is also the opening of, hey, I'm just going to break something open and a tractor pull you into oblivion. And honestly, to that point, I kind of would want to see this Hevo move up one space, because then you could slide. You don't have to rearrange as much in order to get the Crushmore to where Hevo is, so it can break the block in front of a tractor and then yoink something in. Because right now, you're going to have to rearrange a lot of your team, possibly lose out on some damage. But as long as A. Markand stays disciplined about Charon pooping everywhere, then you've effectively neutered this fire ant. Also, what is the thing that's, like, floating occasionally in Charon? You can kind of see it in the idol occasionally. There's bubbles that pop, but there's sometimes something that, like, slides through him, and I don't know what it is. Which, by the way, Shadow Force, I know we said it before, but 7 phobies. You can't slide a 1 key out of here. Even though you have 7 keys, those are locked up under lock and key. I don't know. Until you sacrifice one of these phobies, and none of these are really things you want to give up easily, right? I don't think there's any way to get this right now. No easy way, anyway. You could try and block something. There's likely a trap on this panic point. Souls of the Damned, it's possible. Actually, there might not be a trap on this panic point, because this is orange, so it probably was tripped a while ago. The reason I bring it up is you can heebie-jeebie special this because the Crushmore's so far away. It looks like a skull. It might be. Klepto, last keys being spent from A. Markin. They think they've got the game locked up with this composition. I don't know if I like that Terraform. I don't know if I like that Terraform. So this does make it a little bit easier to shuffle things around, continue doing Charon stuff like this. So there's a world in which Shove Shark allows Erratic to connect with this stuff, but that's not enough. So you'll get the Erratic spread plus the Fire Ant plus a jar onto the Attractor. I think the Attractor might have to pull back. I think the Attractor needs to be here. Behind the Hevo. You still get splashed by the Erratic. And I think A. Markin's realizing that. That Attractor, maybe they can punish it. Yeah, that's why I think Attractor had to pull back. Everything else is pretty much safe. I mean, you can put a hurt on these things. Clinico is down for a few more turns, but I think the Attractor just gets annihilated there. Whether that's worth it, because the counterattack is going to be Hevo just obliterating your team. Like, it's going to get double hits on, like, 4 different things. Then you get Klepto coming in, you got Charon coming in, you got this coming in. But you're down to your last phobies. You got to be careful, right? All right, this one's not too surprising. However, is there a world in which you can kill the Jar and the Crushmore? I don't think so. I think you can only get the Crushmore, and then Shadow Force is able to supplement with a... and this is assuming you get the Crushmore, but I think you can kill the Crushmore, and then Shadow Force gets a supplement with a 7 key, or some combination. I mean, you had to claim this back as Shadow Force. It was really just a matter of what are you willing to sacrifice. At 1250, this is a little awkward to try and kill without an Attractor pull. Unless you can break in front of Hevo. Jar is safe? Yeah, I agree. So this will take it down even without having to worry about the dimensional pull. This is a little exposed. You get double hits here, you can get a hit from this, and then you could hypothetically get some additional hit. Like, you could snowball, but that's kind of a waste. This game is very much A. Markin's to lose. Unless and again, chat, feel free to disagree, but this really feels like it's A. Markin's game to lose. You gotta make a mistake here to give this game away, but a single mistake probably gives it away. Because Shadow Force is a strong enough player. Shadow Force is a very strong player, and if you give them an opportunity, they're going to claim it. And the Clinico will be back up very soon, so this damage that's going to go down onto the Hevo is not permanent, but this Charon has been taking a beating, and if the Charon goes down, this whole game plan falls apart. So there is a window here where Shadow Force can try and push and make something happen, pressure A Mark into either making a mistake, or maybe there is just an opening where one of those two key phobies goes down, and it gives Shadow Force a window to try and seize control of this game. Ooh, it's actually going to be a Clinico. That's going to heal up the Fire Ant. How much does that change the math of this game? It's not going to be a Clinico, I take it back. At least not for now. Is Crushmore online? Not yet. Well, I guess it'll be online this turn. Or next turn, I mean. So not quite yet. Got to check all the cooldowns. It would be cool in observer mode if it had the cooldowns like above their head or something. Uh-oh. Gotta be careful with this. I don't think this will boop it forward, right? Well, you could make it boop forward, right? You like move Clinico here, move Jar here, boop this, it shifts forward, you hit it. Then you can't get it though. And there's no, like, this is not enough damage to kill it. So if you expose this, it's dead. The Attractor is safe here. As far as I can tell, yeah. If the Jar was up, like, one more space, then it would be dead. But it's not, so it won't be. Slowly getting back into the game because of Attractor placement, but A-Mark and still has the advantage. I guess. I don't know if the Attractor placement is that bad. I don't think there's really a more aggressive position that you could be putting it in until now. Because now that the Crushmore is online, you can obviously make some additional things happen. But prior to that, I think it would have been a challenge to try and aggressively position the Attractor. You would have just ended up losing it. But the thing is that this 3-2 panic point advantage is going to be incredibly difficult for Shadow Force to crack. Because again, they're maxed out. This is a kind of a non-combat phobie, so what are you going to sacrifice from this team? Probably the Murder Wing or the Clinico? Probably Murder Wing, right? Actually, Gravedigger is the most likely candidate to go in and sacrifice its life at this point. Speaking of aggressive positioning, with most of A-Markin's team down in the south, this isn't a bad setup here. Hevo can't hold this off, and you can't force this because it will die on the counterattack. Or you just heal it up. Oh, that's enough! That's enough damage! Not long ago, I think... Yeah. That'll do it. That'll do it. That Murder Wing goes down. Willing to accept the damage here on the Hevo. Is there any way this Hevo dies? So that's 8, 12, 16. I don't think there's any way this Evo can die. Because you can get 2 hits here, a snowball, and then you walk up, shove shark, hit. That's not enough damage. Unless there's a trap and a snowball. A trap could do it. We did miss a segment of this game when we shifted over to look at the other one. But shout out to, I think it was DT saying that there was a Charon showing up here to be the... Oh no, not like this. That's a dead Hevo if Shadow Force goes for it. That is a dead Hevo. Don't even need it. Don't even need it. What a crazy bait. It was pretty wild. It was pretty wild. So the Crushmore is down, not that it could actually set something up here. So there's no yoink available to this. You could lob over and hit the Hevo, but then you run the risk of just getting your Hevo 3.0 clobbered. I don't think... Dial! Uh-oh. Did A-Markin throw here? Is this a game of throws? 2,000 health on the heart. This one's getting tight. You can't even leave the Charon to try and finish off the Gravedigger. You have to vacate here, I think. I don't think it's safe. I guess what you can do is hit with Charon, walk away, move up, poke with the attractor. And then that will kill it. But then they get to connect with Dial onto the attractor. Oh. Yeah, I think you go right there. Yeah. I was about to say. All right, so that's dead. Do you stay and... Because the fire's not going to cook this. Oh, yes, it is. I keep thinking it's only 300 damage. It's 350. I keep thinking it's only 300 damage. That's 3 keys just quite literally incinerated. Quite literally incinerated. Dead Dial and didn't get... Yeah. Look, if you smell burning from your CRT TV, there's a problem. There's a problem. If you smell burning coming from your CRT TV, that's not... I mean, if you smell burning coming from any TV, that's a problem, right? Like, that's not good. What world is that good? Chomp questioning what 50 damage does for Charon during the balance update. Hey, I said there were going to be scenarios where it was the difference between winning and losing. And this looks like it appears to be one of them. It is, in fact, a buff. Believe it or not, but doing more damage is a buff. The more you know. And knowing is half the battle. Getting a little aggressive here. Maybe not. Clinico is available, so I don't love the aggression. G.I. Joe. Wait, really? On what? I don't know. 9 for 5 keys seems like a good trade for A-Market. It seems okay. I'm not a mathologist or something. But the last I checked is that 9 is greater than 5. I'm not exactly a mathematician. But I do remember that 9 is bigger than 5. A mathologist, exactly. I've brought that joke up a lot, chat. That's the first time you've heard me say that, Rybread? It's usually whatever the thing is, ologist. Makes it funnier. It's like if there's an actual term for it. But is 3 bigger than 9? Is this a D's nuts joke? Like, I mean, I guess this is fine, because the damage here is mitigated a little bit because of the Charon poop. Shadow Force now really only has 3 phobies, maybe 2 if Evo 3.0 is there to threaten the jar. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, Kuro. I don't disagree. I don't know, I fail science, so I'm not really a math guy. Fair. Yeah, this is a tough spot for Shadow Force to try and be in, which is hilarious considering how much we were singing the praises of Fire Ant earlier. A cool 1,000 health left on the heart. Really? I guess there's really no threat. This is 700, 1140, 1350. Wait, what? Really? I mean, I respect it, but like... Huh. You could send Crushmore down, and that might be the end, depending on the HP. I mean, I think just Crushmore to the... I guess they can't kill everything and no trap. If they stay, they lose even more phobies. Yeah, I guess the intent here with the Charon is like, hey, there might be a trap here, and if there's a trap, I could lose the Crushmore. Oh no, not this late in the turn. Oh my god. This late in the turn. This is bold. All right. I was like, oh my god, you're gonna base the whole game on an undo that late. I think this did need to move up so that way you can kill this now. Like, this could be costly. Charon was not the hero we expected, but it's the hero we needed. It might be. And I guarantee you Charon will not get the MVP. I bet, unless... I wonder if Charon pooping on panic points gives it, you know, it gives it points in the MVP race. I don't exactly know the calculation. I don't exactly know. I have literally no clue. I got another ping in Discord, just checking to see if it's the players. It is not. Pretty sure Evo 3.0 will, with all the AoE and kills it's done. Oh, win MVP. Yeah. Or Clinico with all the healing. That's possible. Clinico has done a ton of healing. I don't think it's done more damage than some of these phobies, but this is a good play from Shadow Force, I think. I don't think there's any way this dies. Obviously, the retaliation potential from the erratic is huge. Map is almost cleared up. That is true. Alright, getting a cheap shot here. Is that 6? It's 1,000. Yeah. So that's safe. Obviously, A-Market has an enormous, enormous heart health advantage to try and set this game up from. I don't think there's any way there's a trap here, because that was where the other ones detonated, and I don't think the Fire Ant had time to do it. That being said, I mean, you could just... Like, the Hevo could be where the Clinico is to hit this TED, and you don't have to worry about it. Because I think the fire ant was like here. East of this blue panic point. So there's a not 0 chance that there's a trap where the Hevo is? Depending on the response, A Markin can cap the points and end the game. True. Which, I mean, this is why they're doing... A Markin was doing this, is they're going to kill the Ted and then send in the Clinico. I don't know if it's 100% checkmate at this stage, but it kind of feels that way. A Markin has to make a rather egregious error to hand this game back to Shadow Force at this time. It's a long stream, chat. A long stream. I'm going to have to make a super clickbaity title. It'll be like, you won't believe the last game. Because you won't. You won't believe the last game, chat. You really won't believe the last game. That is not clickbait. It really isn't. And I have to remember to edit this into the front because it's true. Congratulations. Well played. GG. Charon, the hero we deserve, apparently. There it is. It's true. GG. A Markin taking it down. Day 5, and I'm still trying to watch the last game. We had to get through the other game first. Well, that's good timing, chat, because it's time for me to go to bed. Very well played, everybody all around. Definitely a lot of fun watching those games. Definitely very entertaining, very exciting, some very unique plays, some very cool strategies, including Charon. He's going to get the, he's going to have to go on the thumbnail. I'm telling you right now. That's going to do it for tonight for the stream, as well as for Monster of the Week 15. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time for more Random's Thoughts.